I cannot tell you why. This moment brings us so much joy.
Very
You're
joyous.
on the air.
That's right. Arr.
Good morning.
Oh my gosh, good morning. And without any further ado, Jason, I am so excited to introduce you to my friend Diane, who I have been threatening you with for months. So I'm so glad, Diane, that you're here this morning.
Hi,
Thank you
Diane.
so much for having me. I'm really pleased to be here as well. And Jason, it's great to meet you.
You as well. I'm excited to see what Baryons is all about. I actually have no previous knowledge, so this will be a great conversation today.
Perfect.
I think, Jason, the one thing that you know a little bit about is I was playing around with beta testing and major testing a tool called Sales Sage, which I was introduced to through my friend Brooks. Diane has been leading us through it. And every time I was like, ooh, I have an idea. Could you use it for? Diane's like, 7 steps ahead of you. Guess what else you can do? And so they've had a little bit of a growth, which is to be expected now. You know, we're in the age of AI, which means tech is rolling right along. So, Diane, where are you at today?
That is such a fantastic question. I feel like each morning we're like light years ahead of where we were the morning before. That's just the pace that we're moving at. And so now we are working on a product called Baryons, and our company is also called Baryons. And so this is our flagship product. And basically, if you think about the problem at hand, when everything's moving at that pace, right, there is just a cluster of AI products that are hitting the market, right? And then add to it the specific needs for the future of work that we're in the midst of. I like to talk about we're stepping through the doorway to the intelligence age. And what that means for us individually is this incredible time of transformation. As teams, when we work together, it means a time of incredible transformation. As companies, it means a time of incredible transformation. And this is happening quick, faster than we've ever seen before. And so what happens is, not only do we have a high level of fear around AI, but we have, a lot of misinformation out there as well. So we like to talk about it like you have your human intelligence quotient, your IQ, and you have your emotional intelligence quotient, your EIQ. And now we all have to magically acquire and grow our human artificial intelligence quotient, right? So our AIQ. And so what we've built with Baryons is a highly personalized mentor for every person to increase their AIQ. With just 5 to 8 minutes a day, you can call up your Baryon and you can have this great conversation that helps you with prioritizing, with figuring out what's going to give you the biggest ROI, with focus, etc. These kinds of things that we know are the true tools to efficiency gains when everything is just so cluttered and just clamoring for our attention in all these different directions.
That is awesome. When I think about AIQ, which is cool, I think you've coined that term because I haven't heard that one before.
First for me. That's great. I love it.
Yeah, let's go, Diane. When I think about AIQ, I think a little bit about, you talked about the emotional intelligence and the sort of sensitivity to, soft skills and how that really helped technologists stand apart. So when you're thinking about AIQ, how can people build their AIQ? How can that be something that you can say, I have a high level of AIQ?
This is such a great question. I mean, it really is foundational to the transformation, right? And just because a person uses AI every day does not necessarily mean that their AIQ is high. So there are several ways of bringing AI into our lives and into our work and into our teaming activities, right? And so the AIQ is structured around human qualities and human productivity qualities, and how we're transferring the future, how we are transitioning into what we're calling, the future of work, what the world is calling the future of work. What does this look like in a post AI world, right? So basically, it hits on how to amplify some of those human productivity qualities that we know create great leaders, great thinkers, critical thinkers, better humans, and all of those things. This is probably my favorite part of our AIQ, is that it helps us be better humans and augmented humans. What does it mean when we really team a human with an AI as a thought partner? And how might our critical thinking kind of go through the roof in that pairing? And how might our decision making also, amplify in, higher quality decisions, as far as, expanding our own use of different mental models and frameworks as we think logically through our problems that we're solving. This Your baryon will actually help you think through alternative perspectives around a problem, right? And it will also help you, be exposed to new frameworks and new mental models to help with your leadership growth and decision making. So it's very interesting, because what we're doing is we're intentionally designing AI use to help us be better humans, right?
Jason, did you hear Diane say, you can call your Baryon?
The next thing that I was just going to say, because I heard you say you can call in, so I'd love to hear a little bit more about that. Was going to be my first question. Obviously, I could probably give you questions for the next 2 hours. And then just to follow up on that, is there any type of score-based tracking, or how are we tracking progress, like when we, from day 1 through day 30, let's say, with our Baryon?
Yes. Okay. This is fantastic. So I'm going to talk to you about it because, as I mentioned this just like super quickly right before we hopped on the call, is that we have an exciting release coming out in about a week. So this is a very classic situation where we've pushed it out just 1 week, and I can talk to it and all of those great things, and then let's do a part 2 and I'll show it to you. What's very exciting about this is that it is a voice-based experience. And what that does is it helps create from the get-go a deeper relationship with the AI agent. And it is your baryon. So you get a personalized baryon, and you can call your baryon. And during your first conversation with your baryon, it will actually ask you to establish a reoccurring call. So we recommend calling it daily for about 5 to 8 minutes a day. And it will actually schedule that call for you on your calendar at the time that you request it. So it walks you through, in that first conversation, it walks you through all of these clever ways to really optimize how you're using your baryon and how to really use it to increase your understanding of AI and capabilities, but also to just do the things that you're struggling with on a daily basis. If let's say my call with my baryon is scheduled at 9 a.m. every single day. let's say one day, let's say it's Monday, Monday morning at 9 a.m., right? And I am struggling to put together something for the executive leadership team meeting. And maybe it's an agenda, and maybe it's, or maybe it's an artifact or something, but something I'm struggling with. Well, I can spend that call talking about that, and it will help me think through it and talk through it. And it will also, if I show up to the call with nothing in particular in mind, it will help me think of ways to utilize it better. So another thing that happens in that very first call when you're establishing it, it teaches you how to set calendar reminders, right? And it also teaches you how to uh, request emails. So anything that you're talking about, you can ask it to send me an email about, send me an email about, or summarizing what we just brainstormed. Send me an email with these 5 takeaways that you just mentioned to me, right? So you can have those things in your inbox and you can come back to them. But then you can also ask it to send you a secret menu. So do you guys go to In-N-Out Burger? I can't remember if there's an In-N-Out out there in Pittsburgh.
We don't have
We
one in
don't have,
Pittsburgh.
yeah, we don't have In-N-Out here.
Oh, darn it. So I'm in California. I'm in Southern California. And of course, In-N-Out Burger is huge here. And everyone knows that when you go up to the cashier and you're like, hey, I want, a double animal style, right? Do you know what animal style is?
I know
No.
double. I don't know what animal style is.
So animal style is grilled onions and this like cheese sauce mixed in with the cheese, right?
Okay. It's like smash burger.
Yeah, it is. It's like a smash burger. And so when you look at the menu at In-N-Out Burger, it's super, super simplified. It seems like there's only maybe 10 options, right? But there's this entire secret menu. You can order a Flying Dutchman. You can order animal style. You can order, all of these different things. So during the first call with your Baryon, it actually prompts you to request your secret menu.
What?
And your secret menu is personalized to you as well, right? And the cool thing about this is that then it emails you your secret menu, and on the secret menu, it actually instructs you on how to voice prompt your agent in the best way possible. And this is the thing that is so meta about this, that what we're doing is we're designing the AI to help train people on how to utilize AI. And and it becomes this kind of mirroring effect where it's very much a knitting together the human and artificial intelligence, in that humans are designing this, from a human-centered perspective. And then the AI goes and interacts with humans and helps train humans on how to utilize AI better. And then those humans go and utilize their other AI tools in an improved way because of the skills that they're learning in these 5 to 8 minute, daily conversations with their Baryon.
That's cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
It's like moving the conversation from being like, write your prompt as if your AI were a new but eager intern who doesn't know a lot but can do a lot if you instruct it the right way, and more like, I don't know if you guys have seen that clip that's going around of the 2 twins in Australia that speak at the exact same time, but one's
Yes.
kind of the leader and the other one kind of follows behind. Like, you're now being augmented, which is wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's the ideal kind of candidate / user of Baryons then, would you say, or at least having the most success with right now in this kind of early stage?
Yeah. I love this question because it really helps us kind of pull back the layers of how AI is being received across populations, right? This isn't a simple question to answer because we can't just say, oh, a certain demographic or a certain geographical area or anything like that. What we're really looking at are behaviors. And as with any new tech, we know that they're the first folks who will want to try it out, they are going to be the folks who are really receptive to utilizing AI in the first place, right? Their AIQ probably will be high. And but there's always room for improvement. There's a natural curiosity. They're going to want to experience this in different ways. Even if your AIQ is very high, you might still feel extremely burdened by the decision overload, I guess, where there are hundreds or even, it depends on your industry, but there are hundreds of options to choose from to really optimize your work and your productivity and how you grow professionally, right? And so even when your AIQ is very high, you might be decision overload. You might be stuck in that space. And if you are similarly, if you're starting out in your career and you are, really struggling to feel like you're, growing as fast as you want professionally, et cetera, it's also really great for folks who are just entering the workforce because it is perfectly patient and it is non-judgmental. As a young professional, I can ask it anything and it's not going to judge me. And I can ask all the stupid questions, the things that I perceive that my peers might think are stupid, right? I don't believe that there are any dumb questions ever. I think it's very interesting to hear all questions because it tells us so much about how we think and, how we perceive the world. So I think that those experiences are always valuable, especially early on in your career. But what we're seeing with young professionals is that they might be clamming up. They might not be asserting or asking those questions when face to face, right? And a lot of it is because of the fear of being judged.
Mhm.
And so with your Baryon, you can ask it anything and you can also practice. So if you are asking it a question about, let's say, I'm a young professional in a new industry and my boss has just asked me to do something. I feel like I've already done it like 10 times over. I don't know how to do it differently again. And my boss is really busy and doesn't have the time to really articulate how I should do it again differently. Well, I can call up my Baryon and I can say, hey, my boss just asked me to do this. I feel like I've done it. I have, I totally aged myself with this, didn't I? I just noticing that.
No, you did not. So, it's funny because my daughter, she just turned 7, and I can go, "What is this?" And she's like, "A telephone." Somehow they still instinctively know that, the receiver, even though there's no hanging or picking up of one. I don't know. It's really strange. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe that's still relevant, but I'm gonna bring myself into 2025 with my imaginary cell phone here. So so I can call up my Baryon and I can say, look, my boss asked me to do this thing. I think the request is stupid. Help me, rethink this. Help me like not sabotage this or burn this bridge, or help me talk through how I should present what I have tried and what those outcomes were in a different way, where I will feel, heard, and we can work through this, right? So all of those things are really important. Those are important muscles to flex. It's communication muscles, it's interpersonal muscles. And those are important to flex early on as young professionals. So that's like that use case, right? And then, and I also talked about previously, I talked about the early adopters, the folks who are like already utilizing AI, and they might be overwhelmed by the choices or the work at hand and the demands and things like that. And then you have folks who are really, really worried or concerned about AI taking over. And I think this is such an important group to be supporting right now, because the reality is that, yes, about 93 million jobs are going away and replaced by AI, but about 170 million jobs are being created by AI. And a lot of those jobs, the jobs of the future, a lot of them are going to be humans in the loop, humans regulating and managing and maintaining the AI workflows, processes, systems, et cetera, especially if you're in a knowledge industry, right? So, so we need everyone who is fearful that AI will replace them. We need to help them. We need to give them a lifeline right now. And we need to meet them where they are. And we need to, kind of help them warm up to this in the way that makes the most sense for them, in a way that is safe, that is secure, that is, private, non-judgmental, and where they can practice things that they might feel too overwhelmed to practice in a team or a more public environment.
This is great. It reminds me of, when you think about the different industrial revolutions, right? As we've moved through industrial revolutions, people were anxious about robotics. People were nervous that automation was stealing their jobs. And the reality was, as you're thinking about food production, robots do a really good job of being able to say, this one doesn't meet our specifications, let's drop it and get rid of it. And so I think there is a combination of both this emotional security that says you should look forward to using this AI, and here's how you can receive your assurances, but also being able to say, hey, look, this is how you're going to be able to get better at your job. This is why we're providing this for you. And so I think the way that you're describing this, Diane, and Jason, I don't know, we haven't seen it. We don't know what the Baryon looks like, but it sounds to me like something that's got the trust layer of emotional security built in, which I think is going to be really critical as we think about having multiple generations of people in the workforce. And layered on top of that is people who've had different exposures to technology as well.
That is so, so true. And I love that you're framing this within, the waves of technology that we've seen through our lifetimes, and that we've studied about from, the time through history, right? From the industrial age on. And what you just said there at the end is so, so important. I want to add to it, or just, punctuate it. This is the first time ever that we've had 4 generations working within companies. And the knowledge gaps, the generational gaps, the communication gaps have never been wider, right? And so if you're frustrated at work, there's no wonder there's frustration at work, right? It is really, really hard when we are largely working remotely. We're working in a post-COVID era where things are very different to begin with. We are working across 4 generations, oftentimes across 4 generations. And there's so much value to be gleaned from that experience. It's really a gift to have 4 generations working in the same space, because we are going places and going further, and being even more innovative than we've ever been before, I feel like, because of that. And the opportunity for empathy is really high because of that as well. So it's a coin. Everything's a coin, right? And there's 2 sides to it. So it can be highly frustrating. It can be highly rewarding, but it is definitely unique right now.
For sure. I think on that note, that's great. And this is obviously going to be part 1. I'm very much looking forward to a demo and seeing how this works. Well, first of all, I guess everybody's going to have to go over to YouTube and subscribe to the channel so they know when the next episode comes out. But when can we expect that?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's do this again in 2 weeks. Should we do that? Like, I'll look at your calendar and see when there's availability, but let's do this again in like 2 weeks. And I will have my phone. I'll have my phone teed up. What I really want to show off is that very first call. So it is just such a fun experience. I can call up a different voice agent, because one of the tremendous things about working with such a smart development team that's been developing product for over 20 years is that this team has worked through each of the 3 waves of AI: automation, hyper personalization, and now with generative AI, right? And so everything that we build it's not just generative AI. This is not just a wrapper. It is a combination of all of these things within a secured environment. And so the experiences that we create, there's the creative process itself has been super fun to be part of. And what that means is we have like a lot of prototypes that we've gone through, right? And we've built this thing and we've built this thing, right? And to arrive at something, really beautiful that can be packaged and shipped and delight people, you have to kind of play around with all of these other things. So our sandbox is pretty full. I could call in a voice agent to give a flavor of it, but I really just want to build up some anticipation for the live thing of the Baryon.
And it sounds like you can't wait to wake up at 5 a.m.
This is how
we can
I roll.
accommodate. We can accommodate a later, since you're West Coast. I wasn't aware of that, but we can always push back to account for that. That way, we get the full experience.
I'll have some natural daylight for that one.
For sure. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Diane. We appreciate it. Looking forward to the next episode and hang out at Baryon in real time. That's going to be so cool.
It'll be awesome. Yep. Thank you. Right. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much.
Small with the camera.